In this tutorial, we'll be talking about object origin, 3D cursor, global and local axis. Now let's get understanding of the object origin, what's a 3D cursor, global and local axis. So let's start off by object origin. This is a point in 3D space used for reference for location, rotation and scale. As you can see, when you select an object, there will be an orange dot at the middle. So even if you rotate, you'll be seeing it. When you scale, you'll be seeing it. Let's say, for example, moving an object from one place to another, press G. As you can see, it is moving with it. The orange dot determines the location of the object. Basically, the orange dot is the one that is used for transformation of the object. Let's say, for example, the location, the rotation, and scale. Sometimes when we're modeling, the orange dot may not be on the object. For example, let me click Tab, then press G and X. Let's move the keyboard aside. Click Tab to get out of the edit mode. As you can see where the orange dot is and where the cube is, it is not where it is aligned. So when I do rotation, basically it is going to do the rotation based on the object origin. As you can see where it is. Same to rotation, scaling. Control the object origin. There's a menu, you can find it here to object. You can set the geometry to origin. That means the object will go to the origin, or origin to the geometry. That means the origin will go to the geometry. We have the origin to 3D cursor. We'll get into the 3D cursor. Basically, the 3D cursor is the one in the middle. As you can see, the middle one between the X and Y axis. You can also right click to find the menu. Okay, so for example, we can put the origin back to the geometry. As you can see, it has gotten back to it. You can also put the origin geometry to origin and it will go there. So basically, understand the origin. Yeah, that's it for the origin. Now let's get into the 3D cursor. Basically, the 3D cursor is the red and white icon, as you can see in the middle between the X and Y. This is where the objects are created. For example, let's add a cube. Press Shift A, go to Mesh and add a cube. If you want to move the 3D cursor, hold Shift and right click. Let's add a monkey. For example, press Shift A, go to Mesh, down here, monkey. As you can see, it is where it is. The 3D cursor also has a menu, so you can press Shift S, just hold on it. So we have selected to cursor, we have select to active, so the 3D cursor will go to the active. Select to grid, you have cursor to active, cursor to selected, and you can put it back to cursor to origin, cursor to grid. We already talked about that one. Okay, so we can put back the cursor, but you can also move it by just holding Shift and right clicking. Let's understand between the local and global axis. So let's start off with global axis. Global axis is the world axis in Blender. As you can see, this is the X, Y, and if I press 1, you'll be seeing the Z. It is where objects move. For example, if I want to move this object, press G, then I can move it in the X axis, Y axis, maybe in the Z axis. Let's come here to the object properties. Scroll down to the viewport display, enable the axis, then press Z on your keyboard and hold it. Let's go into wireframe mode. Now let us understand what is local axis. Let's say, for example, I rotate this cube. I press R, then lock it in the Z axis and rotate it a bit. So as you can see, the object has its own axis. It has the Z, X, and Y. We can also see the global axis, that is the X, Y, and Z. As you can see, it is not aligning to the world origin axis, that is the global axis. Let's say, for example, I want to move this object to the X axis. So I press G, lock it in the x-axis. So that one is moving in the global axis. To move it in the x-axis, as you can see, the object is facing away. The x-axis is not moving along with the global axis. So to move it to the where the object x-axis is, we will press G, then double tap X. As you can see, we are moving now in the local axis of the object. You can also do that to Y. Just double tap Y. As you can see, the cube is moving to the object axis. That is the local axis. Yep. Hopefully you have understood between global and local axis. You have also understood the object origin and the 3D cursor.